Personally, I'm going to be a fan of the Turks, the Blue Turks. I'm going to be a fan of the Turks, because they committed one of the worst atrocities in history, the Armenian genocide, and still have the sheep shooting at it. But that goes against the grain. Anyway, and they committed various other atrocities as well against people who are not their kind of race. And I believe that there's one morale of the story that the Turks need to learn. Don't poke the Russian bear. What the hell were they thinking? And I knew all along that the Russian plane was not in Turkish airspace. And Cameron is just a idiot for actually not condemning that reckless action by Turkey. It should be kicked out of NATO altogether. It should have its EU membership suspended, and the Dardanelles Straits should be created as a neutral zone, like it would have been after the First World War. But I'm never been a fan of Turkey anyway. The nation, I mean, there's no human rights there. Hates women. I was about the government. The government hates women, and also hates Kurds, hates Armenians. But if you go to Turkish school, and if you go to Turkish library, and through history, the Armenian genocide is not mentioned once. No, not once. And it's terrifying how the idiot president of Turkey, or Prime Minister Erdogan, or whatever his name is actually about to bring us to war. It's absolutely terrifying. And he's an idiot. And the last presidential election was probably rigged anyway. Because there's no democracy in Turkey whatsoever. And I thought EU rules stated that human rights had to be good, women should be respected, there's no discrimination between males and females, and there is. So I don't know why Turkey is being submitted to the EU so early. I can't just understand that logic whatsoever. But the moral of the story is Russian plane flying along the Syrian frontier within Syrian airspace. Turkish jets shoot it down. The end. And US officials, even US officials, the United States, the sole ally of the Turks, now admit that the plane was actually inside the Syrian airspace, not inside the Turkish airspace, as reported in the morning newspapers in the UK today, where they had distorted maps which tended to show that the Russian plane just managed to actually just launch a couple of miles into the Turkish airspace, which is a lie really, and that's just and people can't be fooled. The general public are not idiots, and they can make up their own minds about this. One word for the Turks: idiots. The Turks are Sunni Muslim. ISIS are Sunni Muslim. Saudi Arabia is Sunni Muslim. The Gulf States are Sunni Muslim. Syria's Assad, etc., are Shia Muslims. That's one of the major reasons why the Gulf States won't accept the refugees from Syria and Iraq, because many of them are Shia Muslims. They're not the Muslims they want. If you're not a Sunni Muslim, you're not allowed in. We only respect the Sunni religion, not the Shia religion. That's just disgraceful, really, and that's discrimination. But they won't allow them in because they're the wrong type of Muslim religion. That's all there is to it. And the reason why the Turks love ISIS so much is because the ISIS have been beating the hell out of the Kurds, who the Turks have been fighting for decades now, because after the First World War, it was hoped there would be a Kurdish state in northeastern Iraq and in some part of modern day eastern Turkey, but that failed to materialise. It was also hoped that there would be an Armenian state within the modern Turkish territory, but the Turks kicked up a fuss, and unfortunately the Treaty of Severus was scrapped. I so wish that the Treaty of Severus was actually made into full force, because the Treaty of Treaty of there we are. No, the Treaty of Severus would give actually passing Turkey, modern day Turkey, into Allied zones, and the Straits would have been an international zone, and I believe that's what they should be. The bit above the Straits should be given to Greece, rightly so, and the whole of northeastern Turkey should rightfully be given to Armenia, and this was an Armenian majority land up until the First World War in 1959-60, when the Turks absolutely slaughtered the Armenians in the infamous Armenian genocide. And the far southeastern side of Turkey should be given to the Kurds, and northeastern Iraq should be given to the Kurds as well, as a state called Kyrgyzstan. And I believe this is the right thing to do. And I hope the Treaty of Severus does become a future reality, because the Turks kicked up a storm, etc. and it should never have been allowed to actually react with force towards the Treaty of Severus. Now people will be saying, like, why the hell are you talking about that for? How is it relevant to what's happening? It is bloody relevant. I've always been deceiving at how the Turks got away with actually not having the Treaty of Severus imposing them. But once again, I hope Istanbul will become a Christian city with the cathedral. When the Ottoman Turks took the city of Constantinople, they completely vaporised that cathedral into one giant mosque. Obviously, in wartime, even in religious times, it was a fundamental rule that religious buildings should be preserved and protected for how they are. The Turks completely broke that agreement. But like I say, that should be the map of Turkey. The Treaty of Severus in 1920 should be reinstalled. So the Straits, Dardanelles and the Bosphorus should be international zone. And the rest of Turkey, well, European Turkey should be given to Greece. Right, so as promised by the Allies in 1916, when the Allies were promising Greece territory. Northeastern Turkey should be given to the Armenians, and the Turks should be the Turkish population in that area should be repatriated, and the Armenians should be allowed to settle there, as their ancestors have been the majority in that area till they were killed off, done to death by the Turks. They're still alive. And there was a time when the Turks were, the Americans were about to recognise the Armenian genocide, but the Turks only rushed to America and said, "You fucking dare." So the Americans relented, unfortunately. Nice grapes.